Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator 2. And welcome back to a lot of things. So we're continuing our journey from Dombås to Kokkola. We're going up and around the Baltic Sea. As you can see, it's no longer frosty. I pulled out frosty. I did a couple things. Well, let me back up a step. How you doing? How's your Monday? How was your weekend? Oh, mine was, I have to say, a little bit challenging. And part of the thing that made it challenging was these videos, man. I have really struggled driving trucks this weekend. I have no idea why. I've tried to record this video that we're watching right now. I've started it probably about 10 times, which is one of the reasons we're so close to Kokkola, because every time it goes south on me, I just scrap that one and say we'll start again from this point. But this point keeps getting closer and closer to our drop-off. I don't know. So I finally gave up. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and roll it forward to 1.34. I know it's going to bump us back to Reims, as it always does. So I went ahead and did that. I rolled the game forward to 1.34. I installed ProMods 2.33, which is what we're in right now. I pulled out Frosty, and I assumed it would restart us in Reims. And for like the first time that I've ever seen in this game, I rolled forward to a new version, I updated ProMods, and it did not set us back to our home garage. It kept us right on our journey. And at a certain point, you just have to be like, you know what, F it. F it right in the A. Right? So we're not too far from Kokkola, and we're just going to head on in, even though it's not going to take us long to get there. Now, I will tell you, pretty much everything bad that could happen in a Euro truck trip has happened. I have hit invisible barriers and damaged the truck. I have been hit by cars randomly and damaged the truck. It's been absolute comedy of errors, but we're going for it. Oh, and we're late. We're already late. We're not even there yet, and we're late. So I suspect that when we get this cargo delivered, we are literally going to make $0. We're not going to get paid at all. But you know what? We're driving our truck. We're driving our truck, and we're having a good time. It's so relaxing. Gaming is so relaxing. It really is. Yeah, they say. So I guess that sort of leads into what I wanted to talk to you about today, which is how serious or how casual a gamer are you? And I think this is one of those things that goes either way, because there's some people that they'll tell you, oh yeah, I'm totally serious about my video games. I video game all the time, man. I'm always playing them video games. You say how much you play, and they say, oh man, sometimes like 2 or 3 hours a week. 2 or 3 hours a week? What? That's, even for casual gamers, that's pretty casual. And then it can go exactly the opposite way. You know, somebody will say, oh, I don't game too much. I'm kind of a casual gamer. Oh, really? How much you play? Oh, no more than like 5 or 6 hours every evening. What? You know, 7 days a week, that's like 40 hours a week you spend playing video games. What do you mean you're casual? You're addicted, son. It's different for everybody, is what I'm saying. And I think, you know, because I'm a serious gamer, and I assume a lot of you are serious gamers as well. And I think for us, you know, the idea of just walking away from a game when it's giving you problems, like I literally know people that have bought a video game for 60 or 70 bucks. And we've started it, you know, sitting on the couch, passing the controller around, drinking a beer. And a couple weeks later, you say, hey, man, whatever happened with, you know, whatever that game was that you got? They say, oh, it got frustrating. Well, yeah, of course it got frustrating. It's a video game. It's supposed to be frustrating. You finish it, and they're like, nah, I don't even play it anymore. You know, they just lost interest in it. Quit playing it. And for the rest of us, it's like, I wouldn't say that we don't have that option, and I'm really cautious about the term addicted. You know, but I guess sometimes, you know, we look at these games and they're so difficult and they're so frustrating, and they can be really, and I'm not talking about challenging frustrating, I'm talking about like piss you off. This is some boo-boo frustrating, and we just keep playing them. You know, we push through. So like I said, I've started this video about 10 times, and I mean, eventually we're going to be in Kokkola, and I'll be restarting it. Like, if anything goes wrong this time, I'm just going to start it at the delivery, pull forward 10 feet, and say thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. I'm done with you. But it is what it is, and this is what gaming is to us. And I suspect, I mean, the example that I use a lot is gardening. If you have a garden, oh, that's like a noble hobby. You know, that's a cool hobby. Oh, it's like classy and genteel, and everybody can get down with that. I planted a decorative garden. I planted an ornamental garden around my home, and people are like, oh snap, that is awesome, love it. And you never hear anybody say, really? Are there vegetables in it? That's dumb. Ornamental garden? That's dumb. How much money do you spend on that? Oh, I don't know, $5,000. $5,000 for flowers? That's dumb. How many hours a week do you spend out there? Oh, probably 2 or 3 hours every evening. 2 or 3 hours? That's dumb. You don't hear that. Gardening is one of those things that gets a pass. But as we get to a certain age, which I am, video games no longer gets a pass. Now, I get a pass from my peers because they're doing the same thing. But people older than me, I mean, when they think about video gaming, they still think of like Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario Kart, that sort of thing. They have no idea what gaming's about. So I am defensive about it. I really am. But to me, it's a hobby. It's no different than any other hobby. Back in the day, people used to play chess by mail. You'd set up a chessboard in your house. Obviously, you find somebody to play with, like a pen pal. You set up a chessboard in your house, right? You figure out who's going to be white, who's going to be black. You make the first move, and you write it down on a piece of paper. You put it in an envelope, and you mail it to them, right? And whatever, they're on the other side of the world. They get it like a week later, and they move the piece on their board, corresponding to the move that you just made. And they think about it for a few days or a week or whatever. They make a move, they write it down, they mail it back to you. You get it a week later. It might take a year to play a 25-move chess game, right? And that's just the sort of stuff people did, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's nothing wrong with playing, co-op PUBG, PvP PUBG, or there's nothing wrong with anything that you do with your time, as long as it's good for you and it makes you happy and it moves your life forward. So I get defensive about it. And I think part of it is, like I said, dancing around that word addicted. But I don't know that you're addicted to your garden or addicted to playing chess by mail. I think it's just something you like, that you're into, that you do. Whatever, it's nobody's business but yours. But I'm still cautious about that word. So I guess what I'm saying is, when games become challenging, when they become problematic, and we don't walk away from them, is that tenacity on our part? Is that like a character thing? Or are we addicted? Hard to say. Hard to say. I would like to think that it's just us working through challenges, because again, using that garden as an example, if your garden goes to shit some year, and it, nothing does what you think it will, and things don't bloom, and you have a late frost, and you lose your bulbs or whatever. I'm just like throwing out some random gardening terms. I don't know anything about gardening, but you get what I'm saying. Garden doesn't grow, and you put a lot of money and a lot of time into it, and nothing happens. And people are like, okay, so you're going to quit gardening now? And you're like, quit gardening? What are you talking about? No, of course not. I'm going to get after it again straight away. Get ready for next spring. So you do that in your garden, and it's like, okay, cool, But you do that in a video game, and it's like, are you having a problem putting down the controller? Well, yeah, I am, because I'm not done with this level. I got to finish it. So I think you see what I'm getting at. So I don't know. I just know working through these problems, I'd like to hope that it's a good thing, But who's to say? What I will say, though, is when a game gets really frustrating for me, I do stand up and stretch out a little bit and go to the gym. There's the Airbnb I'm at, there's a gym right down the hall, and I'll go work out for an hour, and that definitely makes me feel better. And I'm a bit of a gym rat. I'm not spending as much time in the gym currently as I have in the past, but like at the highest whatever level, whatever you want to call it, I'll work out like 2 or 3 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. It's not like that right now, but But then again, that's the same thing, and you hear people say that. Are you working out too much? Well, I don't know. I feel great. I look great. Am I working out too much? So I guess it's different for everybody. But the main thing is, can you walk away from it? Can you take a break from it when you need to? And when you don't take a break, when you push through those problems, is that character, or is that just, you being kind of hooked on it? Hard to say. But I can tell you, switching up to ProMods 2.33 was a piece of cake. I downloaded it. I always do the fast download now. I pay them the euro, €1 for the actual ProMods, and then €1 for the TCP add-on trucks and companies. And I'm sorry, 50 cents. Comes out to like, I don't know, $2 or $3 American. Well worth it. I would pay 10 times that for ProMods. Maybe not every 2 months, but you know what I'm saying. But I do the fast download and unpack it, drop the new files in. Well, pull the old files out, drop the new files in, and then when I go in and start the game, everything that I've deleted has the red exclamation point. I activate the new ones, put them in the same order as the old ones, fire the game up, and it starts every time. So I feel like, I don't know if it's something new in the game itself or something new in ProMods, but it seems like it's working better than it has in the past. Seems like in the past it took sometimes a couple tries to get all your mod conflicts sorted out, but it seems to be working really, really smoothly lately, which I'm definitely digging. So yeah, ProMods 2.33, 1.34 on the base game, and I don't know. I truly believe that I have passed peak mod. I really think that I'm just not into hunting mods like I used to be. I think about 6 months ago, a year ago, I was all about, almost every day, I have to say, almost every day, looking for new mods, making sure all my mods were up to date, making sure everything was compatible, testing new stuff. And I'm just not into that anymore. And I don't know when it clicked. I think it was kind of a combination of like a gradual thing and a sudden thing, if that makes sense. Like the gradual thing is it's creeping up on you. It's creeping. It's getting to be more and more of a pain in the ass to do this, but we're still doing it. And then at some point it just like flips the switch and you realize like this has been way too much of a pain in the ass for a long time. And I haven't been into it for a long time, so I'm just going to stop. And I think that's what happened. I mean, there's still some that I'm really into ProMods, I guess, but ProMod sends me a notification. I don't need to chase it. They just send me a notification when it's ready. So I don't know. I mean, the Steam Workshop is awesome, and having transitioned almost all my games from serial number over to Steam, any game that has Workshop support, for the most part, the mods tend to stay updated and download automatically when they update. So no problems there, huge savings as far as time and hassle. But I'm just, there's really no other way to describe it. I'm just not into hunting mods the way I used to. And it could be, it could be that Farm Sim 17 burned me out. Because I've told you this, I ended up with like 600 mods in my mod folder. And a lot of them I had to update manually from some of the dodgy mod sites. Now, there's some pretty solid German mod sites that are, I would say, more reputable, somewhat reputable. I don't know. They're more reputable than the Russian dodgy mod sites, but not by much. But that was, that took some time. And I mentioned this in previous videos, that you get to a certain point where you're spending as much time, and in some cases more time, maintaining your games than you are playing them. And I feel like at that point, we've gone around the bend. That's no good. That's not a good place to be. And it is fun. I have to say, it's fun chasing down mods. It's fun having the latest and the greatest. It's fun having things that not everybody can have or make work. But the games themselves, I think, should be what we're into. I mean, you can be into whatever you want to be into. I didn't when I say that, I'm certainly not telling you what to do. You can do whatever you want. But for me, I feel like we can maybe lose sight of the fact that the game is the goal. In Race Room, I don't know why, but I, over time, acquired every track and every car. Well, I don't use a lot of those cars. I do use almost every track. I love the tracks in Race Room. But I don't, I definitely don't use every car. I don't drive every car. I really just drive that Mercedes and sometimes the Ford GT. And there's some fun old cars to drive. But mostly it's just a couple of cars. Well, why would you buy all those cars then? You know? Now, the way Race Room is set up, the more stuff you buy, the cheaper the stuff that you haven't bought becomes. So at a certain point, you know, you're talking about another 50 cents or $1 to get, you know, the last little bit of content. But essentially, I have every add-on you can get for Race Room. And I don't use most of it. So why do it? You know, and I think it becomes that that sort of RPG attitude where, you know, 100%. And I suppose you could say the same thing about ETS. You know, you can buy every truck if you want, even if you're not into every truck. You can explore every part of the map, even if there are parts of the map that you really don't care for. So there's a collecting and almost a hoarding aspect of this, and I think the developers know it. You know, I think they know when they're building these games, I think they know that there's a part of us as people, like somewhere in our DNA, there's a part of us that just likes to collect stuff. And they leverage that. Not necessarily in a bad way, but they, you know what I'm saying? They do. So I feel like I've moved past that. And I just want to play the games now. I don't necessarily need to have all the goodies. I just want to play them. I've been here before. I remember this very specifically. We are definitely loading some scenery. Although our frame rate is pretty good. After we pulled out Frosty, our frame rate picked up quite a bit. Right, where we want to turn. Right there. Okay. Yep, frame rate has picked up. Happy about that. And we're going this is about 20 minutes. So let me see where we're at when we get this thing dropped off. If we're at, 19 or 20 minutes, maybe we'll pick up and start heading. We're going to head north again. We're going to head up to the North Cape. Yeah. But let's see how we're doing on time when we get this dropped off. Tell you something else. It's been super gloomy where I am. It's been rainy and cold and just gray and kind of yucky. And I think that's really been beating up my mood a little bit. That's a weird thing to think about. It's a weird thing to sort of realize, like what an effect the weather can have on us. But it really can. It really can. Right there. Okay. We may be able to do this in one swing. I tend to clip the pole over there along the fence. I've done it so many times. But I guess what I'm saying is pulling out Frosty, even though it's just a game, you know, I feel like I've got enough manky, cold, gray weather in real life. I don't need any more of it in a video game. So maybe pulling out Frosty perked me up a little bit. Right. See if we can get it in the trigger here. Fantastic. Okay, put it in neutral. Set the brake. Let's hop third person because I want to take a look at this. Yeah, I do like this truck. I do. Right, so we'll do that. Turn it off. We'll unload. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, we're late. And yep, $0. $0 bills, y'all. Okay. Let's, oh man, that kills me. Oh, 17 hours late. Yeah, it's been an experience. Right, we're in the cargo market, right? Because we've got our own trailer. And we want to go up here. I would love to go to this town right up here. So this is Finland. Yeah, so we were in Norway and then we crossed over into Finland. This is back into Norway and this is Russia. Yeah, so we could go to, no, wrong way. Not really. That's back the way we came from. We'll find a good one in here. Nope. 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 It's that way. It's that way. Nope. Nope. That's kind of the way we came. Do you want to go back up that way? Take some beverages. I like cold beverages. I think it's going to have to be that one. Yeah, so if we take this one, now this may work out. Where was it? Right there. This may work out because this will take us up toward the North Cape, right? And we're at about 21 minutes, so maybe we can get up there and call it before the end of the video. 6 hours. We just slept. Okay, cool. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go back right there because that's my screenshot right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's fire it up. Let's hop in. Where are we going? We're going right around the corner. Brake is off. Lift axles are up. Put her in gear. Here we go. And I think let's swap out our truck. Next stop. Next place that we get to. Let's hop in another truck. Let's hop in our Volvo. And let's rock the Volvo with an owned trailer. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just pick up some because we can't really do heavy cargo with the owned trailer. So maybe we'll I don't know. We'll play it by ear. But let's head back up the road. Head back up to the what is that? Like the north part of the Baltic Sea. And then from there, we'll keep heading north. So I think, yep, I can see the little green symbol right there. There we go. Swing it out. I like this truck. I like the sound. And I like that dolly trailer. I know there's slightly different height. There's 4 meter and 4.4 meter. That's the difference in height. Right, cargo market. What are we hauling? We're hauling, what did we say? Beverages? Yeah, we're hauling beverages to Tornio, which is about 286 kilometers. Okay. So we're going to take that job. I'm just going to pull, you know what? I think maybe we can get into the trigger box here and not have to skip loading. Maybe. Maybe. Can you give it to me? They certainly are. Right. Set the brake. Engine off. Let's load up. Here we go. Fantastic. Take another look there. Works for me. Right. Bring our mini map back up. Put it in gear. Brake is off. Here we go. And it should be about 15 minutes. Okay, so we'll have about a 40-minute video, assuming nothing goes wrong. What are the odds of that, right? Axle's down. Here we go. So something else that I'm curious about. I don't know if there's ever going to be an ETS3 or an ETS2. I would think that there has to be. And the reason why is at some point, this engine that this game runs on is going to be obsolete. Now, I mean, you can certainly bring an engine up to date, keep it sort of tuned up, but at some point, it's got to have some like kind of quantum improvements to it. And I don't know if this is the kind of architecture that lends itself to that. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the kind of engine that can be continually improved, or if it can be sort of somewhat improved for a certain amount of time, and then at that point it's just got to be like we got to start from the ground up. And when that happens, I don't know if that will be able to be included as a patch, or if that will have to be a whole new game. ETS3. I'd buy it. I'd buy it today, man. This is, I have to say, this is one of the only games I've ever had or owned that has never disappointed me. It is frustrating. The AI can be frustrating. Concentrating. The AI can be frustrating, for sure. And the graphics are, you know, maybe not 2019 graphics. But something about this game, man, never disappoints. And when I was, you know, when we first started the episode, I was kind of bemoaning my struggles, but that's just a thing, you know. It's not. It was a coincidence of circumstances, I guess is a good way to say it. Like one of the first times that I started the video, this video that we're in now, one of my failed attempts to record today, actually over the past few days, but we had just pulled onto the highway and there was one of those highway incidents, and the police car that was between the two fire trucks just like backed up out into traffic and ran into the side of my truck. That's just one of those things, you know. If I was playing and not recording, that would probably be funny. But because I was recording and because I had been trying to get this episode going, it really kind of, But, you know, it's whatever. I mean, no game is perfect. No game is perfect. So, yeah, I would buy ETS3 today if they released it. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, it will need to change at some point. But I don't know when or how that's going to happen. We'll see. In the meantime, man, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we got Beyond the Baltic Sea, Beyond the Baltics. I say it wrong, I feel like, every time. But we got that. We got ProMods compatibility now, and we're just rolling. And now here's the same question I've had like many times before, because you know I'm into these long play videos. We're gonna head to up to the North Cape. Are we going to be able to get up there, get turned around, and head all the way back down through the Baltics and through Eastern Europe to get down to Greece before the next DLC drops? This DLC dropped a couple of months ago. We haven't even seen it yet. We literally have not been in the Beyond the Baltics area yet, because we're trying to be good, legit truckers. So are we going to be able to get through all this and get down to Greece, which is new in ProMods, where we also haven't been? We haven't been to Greece yet. Will we be able to get down there before the next big things drop? Because who knows what's going to be in ProMods 2.40. They could put Turkey in there. Who knows, man? They could just go buck wild. Oh, man. And you know what? This sort of ties in with what I was saying earlier about peak mod. I'm going to use that term. I don't know if I invented that or if I'm just saying it. I haven't heard anybody else use it. But if we are post-peak mod, you know what I'm saying? Then maybe we won't get the next ProMods. You know, yeah, and I mean that maybe that's another way to say it. That at some point, I mean, I know there are people that don't roll forward to a beta patch in ETS or ATS. They wait till it's full public, or like in my case, I waited till Pro Mods caught up this time. In the past, I've been more, I don't want to say aggressive, but maybe that's a good word for it. You know, I want that public beta as soon as it's available. I don't want to wait for the full public. But, I mean, you can wait till everything is like stable. And maybe some people just wait, period. Like, I'm sure there are some people that are running like ETS 1.30 and they're like, oh yeah, dude, I know how to update. I just want 1.30. You know, that's the one that works the best for me or whatever. So, I mean, and that's part of that is a PC thing. PC. Part of that is a PC thing. But part of it, I think, is just the way games are changing and having, you know, multiple storylines and multiple endings and being more interpretive, you know, in that you can play the game kind of however you want versus the very linear gameplay of 5 or 10 years ago where you had to do, you know, certain things. You know, I finished Ghost Recon, and you know, you can equip yourself however you want. You can play the game however you want. You can go in stealth. You can go in guns blazing. You can use the drone. You can, you know, it's very interpretive. You can do the missions in any order you want. You can skip them. You can go back to them, whatever you want. And you contrast that with something like, I was big into the Medal of Honor series, and you contrast that with the last couple Medal of Honor before they went away, 2K10 and Warfighter, and absolutely linear. And you can pick up a gun that somebody drops, but it's gone at the end of that mission. You don't get to keep it. You don't get to decide what you want to carry as far as, you know, weapons and loadout. You can't pick your clothes. You know, there's no real character building. So I feel like gaming is definitely moving in the direction where you do what you want, and it's a challenge for a game developer. It has to be, because you're putting in content that you know some people are never going to use. So using ETS as an example, you know, there are a lot of trucks in here that I have no interest in owning or buying or driving, and yet SCS, you know, put a lot of time and effort into making those trucks super awesome, knowing that there are people like me that are just never going to touch them. Or on the ATS side, I'm just not a Kenworth fan. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm not like putting them down or anything. It's just not my jam. Peterbilt guy. So for me, you know, half the trucks in the base game when it first came out, I'll never use them, but they're in there anyway. You know, and I think there may be a Steam achievement or something, a Steam accomplishment for like owning every truck or something. Maybe, I don't know, truck collector badge, whatever. But it's elective. You know, you can do it if you want to. You don't have to. You don't have to. And that is, I think that's well, it goes back to that garden thing. Like, you can plant your garden any way you want. And for gaming for a long time, you couldn't. You know, you played the game the way the developer wanted you to. And now we're getting to a point where you play the game the way you want to. And that is... you know, is that what defines next-gen gaming? More than the graphics? More than the realistic physics? You know, more than this, more than that, is the fact that we are now having more of an avatar experience. Let's see where this guy's going. He's going over there. We're having more of an avatar experience rather than a linear experience. Is that what's defining next-gen gaming? Bit of a tailback over there. Right on. So, I mean, my answer would be yes. You know, the gaming is becoming much more interpretive, much more personal. But I think all of life is. Hey, thanks, millennials. And I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. I really do appreciate that, because it's like everything is is custom now. Everybody wants things their own way, and not necessarily in a bad way, not in like a crazy way, like you're a diva, you know. Just I want what I want, and that's cool. It's cool to want what you want, and that the things that we want are available. You know, in everything from, you know, when you go in to buy a phone now, there's so many choices, and there are a lot of phones. I'm with Verizon, and I know there are several phone lines in Verizon where you can like buy one off the shelf in many different varieties in the store, or you can like order one built specifically. I want, you know, this bezel, I want this material, I want this color, I want, you know, and they'll make it for you. You get it in a week or so. Okay, you know, gaming laptops, gaming desktops. You know, you can buy a base model, or you can say, no, I want you to swap this out, I want you to put this in. It's just the way we roll now, and I think that's a good thing. I think there's never anything wrong with being able to express yourself as a person, and have around you and in your activities for things to be the way you want them to be. I know some people may look at that and say, no, you're spoiled, you're a diva, you don't know how to deal with disappointment, you're fussy. Yeah, maybe. I get what they're saying. I disagree, but I get what they're saying. So it's it's definitely an interesting time to be alive, and I can feel time accelerating, which is crazy. Now, part of that, like I said, could be that I'm getting older, but I also do feel like, you know, I look around the world and I think, oh, no. This is not me getting older. Things are getting faster and faster and faster. Communication, the way we respond to things, consumerism, materialism, everything. I mean, the world is accelerating. And I'm curious where it's all going to end, but that is too big and too serious a topic to talk about in our little gaming video while we're driving a truck here. We'll save that for another day. Save that for another video. So yeah, man, let's get up to, I would say Tornio, but I guess that's more the Italian pronunciation, so it's probably more like Tornio or Tornio or something. But we'll get up here, we'll get dropped off, and then next episode we'll be in a new truck, and we will be we'll be heading north up to that little town. I've made that trip a couple times. It's a haul, man, because there aren't many cargoes going up there. I don't necessarily want a deadhead up there, but I think we may have to, which is not the end of the world. Now, I will definitely do that off camera, which in a way makes no sense because it's still just driving a truck. Like, what difference does it make to you? I'm not being an ass when I say this. I'm kind of asking somewhat rhetorically, but not entirely. Like right now, we're just driving a truck, and it's a fake truck, and you can't tell whether there's anything in the box or not. So what difference would it make, right, if we were deadheading up to the North Cape? But somehow, on some level, yeah, it does matter. I don't know. But either way, if I have to deadhead up there, I will do that off camera, and then we'll start down. All right? I want to say it rains up there a lot, but it could just be that the times that I was there it was raining, and so it seems like it rains a lot. But regardless, it's a beautiful place, though. It's a gorgeous trip. It's tricky. It's a tiny little narrow road, and I feel like the time limits, you know, which I like, as far as getting the job delivered on time on that tricky road. It's like if you drive fast enough for the job to be on time, you end up taking damage because you're driving like a lunatic. But if you drive safely, then your job is late. So it's like, I can't win. But there's a sweet spot. I'm sure there is. I mean, the developers or pro mods, they wouldn't set it up so the jobs weren't possible. That'd be kind of a horrible thing to do, don't you think? Right. Okay. And I think the timing is going to work out just about right, because we do need to sleep. Now, I slept right before we started the video, and I assume I'm going to need to sleep right after we stop, so this will be perfect. And we are most definitely coming up on €1 million. I think we've got like 7 or 8 drivers. And I want to say we've got 7 or 8 garages, but they're not all... We don't have drivers in all of them because we don't have that many trucks. So... Yeah, I want to say 7 or 8 drivers. Maybe more than that, maybe 10. But not that many. Not as many. We don't have as many drivers as we could have, but we'd have to buy more trucks. And I'm just not into truck collecting. I don't know. I just need enough trucks for my drivers to drive. Right. So yeah, you want to drive the Volvo next week? I think we will. I like that truck. I like the stance on that truck. Makes me happy. So we will, I'll swap that over off camera, and I believe, now we could buy a garage in Tornio. And you know what, we might, because this is pretty far northwest. You know what, we won't, because it's actually quite a ways the rest of the way up to the North Cape. So let's buy a garage when we get much further north, maybe in Murmansk. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so whatever truck I swap into, it'll dump me back to Reims, and then I'll have to teleport back to Tornio. And we'll go from there. Yeah, maybe the Volvo, maybe something else. Oh, you know what? Yeah, there is another one. There is another truck I've been thinking about driving. Well, now there's 2 trucks I've been thinking about driving. All right, we'll pick one. I'll pick a truck and drive it. It'll be fantastic. It'll be a surprise. Yeah. Oh, man, this whole video I've been saying Torino. Tornio. Oh, Scandinavian geography. Right. We made it. We're here. Okay. You know, it's crazy that all the drama and all the hassle leading up to this, and then this whole video has gone relatively smoothly. I don't think we've had any tickets. I don't think we've had any collisions. You know, it's crazy. All the effort it took to get here, and then once we got here, it's just like smooth sailing. So it goes. And I will sleep as well. Obviously, I'll sleep off camera. And looks like... okay. Oh, no collisions. No collisions. Not this close. Now, is it right in here? It's got to be. It's got to be. Yep. You can see the box from here. So I'm going to swing out. And then over. And then over this way. And then over this way. I don't think it's going to give us this one. It just looks too wonky. Is that a curb? Yeah, we'd have to pull up on a curb. Right, I'm going to skip the unload and just do it this way. But I think we're also going to level up. Maybe? Maybe? Sure enough, we do. Right. And I think all we've got left is, let's do just-in-time delivery. Beautiful. There you go, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.